Alright, let's talk about the Des Moines. So, this ship is actually pretty busted. What's playing in the background right now is the best game I've had so far in my entire World of Warships career. And considering my stats, well, that's saying something. I'll show you the results at the end, but it's definitely nothing to scoff at. But yeah. I'm just doing this quick video to show this off, because, honestly, the Des Moines is a really good ship, and I know I already said it, but I really want to emphasize that. On screen, I'm just panning around my ship as I normally do. It's pretty standard stuff, to be honest. Overall, this game starts off pretty slow, but it will ramp up, I think, around the 14-minute mark. I don't know, I'm doing this voiceover unscripted, so... But yeah, during this entire play session, with me playing Des Moines, I was getting very sarcastic at the enemy team for just being really bad overall. And after this game, I'm not really sure if it just comes down to me being a good Des Moines player, or if the enemy teams today really were bad. But yeah, in advance, I apologize if I zoom in too much. It's just something that I tend to do. And also, my mouse twitches a lot. I'm not a very calm person, but that's besides the point. Just doing a quick little scrape by that Donskoy. So, at this beginning part, there really isn't much to talk about. It's just me trying to find a position around this island so that I don't get shot by any enemy battleships, because, of course, a lot of battleships can overmatch you in a Des Moines. I believe you only have a 25 or 27 millimeter plating. Yeah, you only have 27 millimeter plating in Des Moines. But as far as I'm concerned, that's the only weakness of this ship. The true potential in Des Moines lies in its guns and its utility. But I'm gonna talk about that later, and just bring attention to this Zeton. I fire off a few shots at it, get a few hits. Some of them are blind, some of them are not. I think the Z10 later appears, but the Donskoy, of course, kills him. Oh, this is one of my favorite parts. The Kutuzov was smoking up, and at that point, I didn't actually know Kutuzov had smoke. I never really seen it often, but I pulled a Flamu and basically tried to blind shot the Kutuzov, because to my knowledge, it was a light cruiser, and I just gave up midway through, and yep, there's the Citadel. So at this point, I just turned to the Zeton, and the Zeton's on low health, so as you can see, I was kind of freaking out, but, well, it is what it is. So at this point, I decided that maybe I should start moving my position towards the enemy, because, well, all the battleships and cruisers were camping at the most behindest parts of the map. I'm still a bit cautious of pushing up, because I know that the Des Moines has a very fragile armor scheme. But eventually I commit to it. So, as I was saying, the Des Moines has really good guns. This is because you essentially get 200 of 3mm guns that fire every 5 seconds, and you get 9 of them. I think the maximum alpha damage of a Des Moines AP is like 5,400. So if you get 2 citadels, that's 10k damage, which is really good. I mean, of course you can only citadel like other cruisers and stuff, but it is still pretty funny chunking like 8,000 off of battleships per salvo. And I actually got really lucky when the Georgia fired at me because most of his shells just kinda hit the rock. And here we are facing the Kutuzov again. I sincerely apologize for my aim, because it isn't really good. I miss a lot of shots, and I'm not sure whether to use AP or HE. I think in my head I knew I should use AP because it's got that higher alpha damage, and of course Des Moines has that improved AP pen angles. But yeah, I just kept on missing, until eventually I just gave up. Which is actually right around here. Coincidentally, around this time, the Hindenburg actually shows up. And remember when I was saying that the armor piercing is absolutely broken on the Des Moines? Well, you're about to see that in a bit. So at first I just shot some HE at the Hindenburg because it's loaded, and then I just shot AP. And look at that dispersion. At first I was just chunking off like 5,000, 2,000, but then this is the part where it gets funny. I think it's, yeah, that salvo right there, Citadel, easy. And I think I get 2 more Citadels on this Hindenburg. No. Either way. Citadel to Hindenburg. It has turtleback armor, just by the way. Got lucky against the Georgia again here. I turned into the island just in case those shells went over the island, but they didn't. So it wasn't really necessary to ground like that. So here's a bit more empty space. Still, of course, hugging an island, because that's what Des Moines do. And in a couple of bits is where I think the Des Moines really shines. So I also mentioned earlier that the Des Moines has some really good utility, and that includes its long duration radar. So the Kutuzov tries to capture a sea, but it's completely broadside onto me, and I hit the island instead of the Kutuzov for the first time, and you can see that the Kutuzov starts smoking up, and then I was like, okay, I'm a radar, and yeah, that's the end of the Kutuzov. 2 citadels, and it sunk. And then I noticed that there was a Kitakazi in front of me, and he was at the edge of the cap, so maybe he'll smoke up and farm out the Georgia. He actually did, but he didn't go as far as I thought he would, but either way, a smoke laid down in front of the Des Moines is really powerful. And at this point, I should not have been spotted by the Georgia. I was actually spotted to another ship behind me, and I'm gonna take 1 torp from Kutuzov. Nothing too major. But yeah. I'm in the smokescreen, but because I had to accelerate in order to dodge that torpedo, I'm now at the mercy of the Georgia. And Georgia did target me for a little while, but there's the Sovietsky Soyuz directly in front of the Georgia. So Georgia has to choose between me or the Soyuz, and Georgia chose the Soyuz, which is really good for me because I can then reverse back into the smoke and then get all 3 of my turrets off on the Georgia. And yep, that's going to sink the Georgia. I didn't get the kill, but that's alright. And then for some reason the Seattle appeared behind the island. No idea why. The Seattle is just like a Des Moines in that it cannot take a hit at its side. And as you can see, I'm still using the armor piercing, just because it's really good at getting those citadels. And on angles that I shouldn't be getting citadels, I still get citadels. Which isn't shown here, but is right there. Only a single citadel, but oh well. I think this is the only time where I actually noticed that there was anybody behind me. So, yeah. I was too tunnel visioned in on everybody in this flank. Because, well, they're the closest to me. And in chat, I just gave a +1 to Akita because he smoked me up. And I think this is the part where the Des Moines really starts to shine. These late game, sort of close range type of scenarios, where there isn't really much in a way that can overmatch you. Right now, I'm on 3 kills, nothing too major. At this moment, I didn't actually know if I should use HE or AP, so I just kind of switched between them to see what worked best, because I wasn't really sure if the Lion's superstructure was enough to fully penetrate using my AP, and well, I get a lot of shatters on his gun turrets, but I think that's mostly down to my, frankly, poor aim. And I think it was around this time where I realized I might be able to get 200,000 damage. So I frantically switched between high explosive and armor piercing to see what would do the most damage given the situation. Then I spotted the Stalingrad. Why he sailed full broadside onto me, I have no idea. And that's a cruiser citadeling a battleship. In case you haven't noticed, I also popped Hydro in case the Howland retort me. I also got Confederate and high caliber. Just the standard stuff. And as my damage is ticking up, I was actually really disappointed that I didn't get a kill on the Lion. So I held off on the radar just so that I can spot the Howland for myself and maybe secure the kill. Because at the moment, I'm not at that 200,000 damage barrier just yet. But yeah, with that shot, I crossed it, and it would be nice to get the kill. And spoiler alert, I actually do get the kill. And that's the end of the battle. So yeah, generally speaking, I'm actually pretty happy with the final results. Sorry if this video isn't up to anybody's normal quality standards. I just kind of wanted to push something out. But yeah, without further ado, I guess I'll see you next time, or whatever YouTube people say when they end their videos. See ya.